Okay, so here we go through daily mobility practice. Today what we're gonna do is we're gonna focus on some ankles, knees, and some hips. So let's start with the ankles. What we'll do is we're just gonna lift your knee up off the ground with your arm like this. So your ankle can point, it can flex, it can invert, or eversion is going this direction. So what we can do is between those four directions, of course you can make circles with your ankle. We're gonna slowly take it back and forth between that. So the first thing I want you to do is you're gonna flex, pull your toes back as hard as you can, get a little assist with your hands. And what we're gonna do is you're gonna flex as hard as you can, pulling it back, release, point. See how much you can extend the toes out, flatten the top of the foot, flex it back, point, and it's gonna be up to you. Maybe you wanna hold, maybe you wanna go back and forth fast. That's totally up to you. But what I wanna do is just get some blood flow to the tissue moving. Now, I just got done with some cardiovascular workout, and I've got plenty of blood flow myself, but this is something I do straight away in the morning many times, going super gentle when I first wake up, pointing, flexing back and forth. Then we're gonna add going inside and outside. So just like if you were walking and stepping on either the blade of the foot, or if you're walking on the inside, we're trying to turn the foot in those two directions now. Again, we're just forcing it back and forth. We're gonna go left, right, hang on to it for a second on one side versus the other if you'd like. That's great, as long as you're moving and getting blood flow. Now we're gonna go point, flex, in, and then out. So we're gonna go all four directions. And if you've never done this before, it's pretty tiresome. You'll be surprised that the muscles in your ankle that you don't use like this often enough, you can even start getting right in the front here in the tibialis anterior, that muscle that goes up and down in the front here, pulling your toes up. That is gonna get fried if you're not used to this. So be careful, I don't want you sore tomorrow. What we'll do next is start circling right, left, big circles, pretend like your big toe has ink on it and you're painting, you're drawing, just making a big circle. I'm holding my knee still, I don't want my whole leg moving, it's just my ankle that we're working on. Next, we're gonna go to that second leg. So let's pull that other leg up, use your arm to assist, you can use your forearm, you can use your wrist, whatever's most comfortable for you. We're gonna start pointing, flexing, just going through the same thing. I'm not gonna prescribe a number of repetitions. You can follow along, you can do more, you can do less. You can do this twice a day. You can do this as many as it takes. Now we'll start going left and right. And I just want to give you a basic outline to follow today. I want to get you moving, and most important, I want to get you ultimately pain-free in your body. Back and forth, pointing, flexing. And you'll notice a lot of times, even because you had an injury or because of overuse, you'll find one side versus the other has more flexibility. My right ankle, I've sprained a bunch through martial arts, and it's harder to squat because my heel doesn't quite reach the ground. I have a lot more stiffness in my right ankle versus my left. There's a lot more freedom in my left side. Let's start making big circles if you haven't yet. Trying to paint, draw a circle with your big toe, go both directions. So just things to observe, that if one side is better than the other, maybe it just needs a little bit more work on that side. Oh, and again, if your ankle's getting a little bit tired, you're normal. Next, let's go back to our right side. What I'm gonna ask you to do is we're gonna sit up on our left side. You can sit, you can come up on your shin, whatever's most comfortable for you. I'm gonna try to get this, so we're working on the right side. My right foot, I wanna try to get flat. So big toe, pinky, and heel all flat on the ground. Don't let the edge come up or the inside. Do the best you can to go flat. Now all we're gonna do is we're gonna work this knee forward and back. Forward and back. Try not to let this heel pop up. I can use my arm to reinforce. My heel popped up a little bit, so I'm just taking note. So the next repetition I do, I don't allow it. And I'm just adding a little bit of force here. Now again, I'm already warmed up. I just got off an assault bike and jump rope workout. So I'm not too concerned with hurting myself or hurting any tissues. But if you're just waking up in the morning and doing this, go slow, go gentle. And you'll probably feel a stretch back here in the Achilles, maybe a little bit in your calf. And then it's up to you, but occasionally I'll take it and I'll hold and I'll give little pulses like this. So I don't really do any static stretching, meaning I just go and I hold and press. I always like to add movement, even if it's this little micro movement, like a little pulse motion. Now we're gonna go circles, but don't let any part of your foot pop up. So let's see how far your knee can go inside without letting the edge pop up. Pulling it back, this should be fairly easy. Then we're gonna go knee outside. Don't let the inside pop up here. See if you can keep it flat. So big toe, inside of the foot, heel, as I take my knee to the outside, circle it to the front. So my knee is now just drawing circles around my foot all the way. Go in the opposite direction. And this actually, it takes a little bit of thought to do this. I really have to be aware of my foot because it's very easy to go outside. My foot just pops up like that. What I want to do is, again, I'm just trying to mobilize the tissues. I'm trying to get a full range of motion back in my joints like I once had it as a 2-year-old. As a toddler, if you watch toddlers walk around, they drop stuff, they pick things up, they do a perfect squat. Everything's perfect about their body. And just through driving cars, sitting at desks, our daily activities, we tend to lose that because we don't use it. Let's switch to the other side. This is my left foot now. So first thing I do is I just try to plant my foot, big toe, pinky, heel. I want it flat as I can. And what we'll do is we're gonna go forward and back to start. So it's kind of like my new side, my first time doing my left side, so I'll go gentle at first. And then as you get more comfortable, you can press into it a little bit more, add a little bit more force. And again, I'm not prescribing how many like reps or how long to do this for. This is just gonna be for you. This is your journey. Some days you'll need more than others. Start circling, going left, right a little bit. You can see it, really trying to put thought into not letting my foot pop up. Even though I'm thinking about it and talking to you, I can still notice. It's like I didn't feel it, but I noticed the outside of my edge popping up. So I'm trying to put pressure, counter pressure down with my foot. We're working on keeping that foot flat, working the knee left and right. Now let's go circles all the way around instead of just back and forth. Going backwards is fairly easy. Now look, my knee goes in, the outside starts to pop out, so you can see me push my foot right back down like that. Going in circles, going the opposite way, circle to the inside. As I go inside, try not to let the outside of the foot pop up. My knee goes outside, don't let the inside of your knee pop up. Good. Okay, now, so let's point the toes, tops of the feet on the ground. If you can, we're gonna sit all the way back. Now this may be uncomfortable for you. You may need to put something underneath your glutes like a towel, or maybe take another rolled up yoga mat and put it there, that's fine. But I'm able to sit. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna lean back and I'm gonna lift one knee up. I'm gonna feel this in the top of my foot all the way up to my ankle. I'm gonna go back and forth. So just like when we were pointing our toes earlier, we're doing the same motion, except instead of my foot off the ground, I'm adding a little bit more load to it. I'm sitting on it and then pulling my knee up. And again, you can go back and forth, lifting left and right. This can get really intense, so be careful. Just sitting down for some people like this, that's intense enough. So if this is where you're at, that's fine. You can lean forward to take some of the load off, make it easier, and then go back and forward, and back and forward, and that may be enough. Or if you're a little bit more advanced, you can start pulling both knees up as you lean back and then forward. And this, man, again, this gets really intense. So you can, once you're back here, you can lean left and right a little bit too to get into one side versus the other. The whole time you should just be breathing through this. Left, right, left, right. Good. And then as we end, I'm gonna pull the toes, I'm gonna curl the toes like this, right? And again, this is gonna get pretty intense for some people. We're gonna hit the big toe and toes a little bit. So sitting like this may be enough for you. If you need to lean forward, take some of that load off, and what you can do is, I'm unloaded, it's not too bad, and I just slowly sit back, feeling it in the big toes, and then coming back forward. And again, a little bit more advanced, you can sit all the way back, really get into it. And then what I like to do from here as well, you can use your hands to assist. And again, if you have like maybe some yoga blocks or something, what you can do is you can push back and then straight forward into it. And I'm using my hands a ton. I have a lot of weight in my hands. Obviously my feet as well. But forward and back, and then one foot at a time. So you can see I'm getting a big bend in the big toe all the way down to, not quite my pinky toe, but what you would call your ring toe. Left and right. Okay, so just by doing my ankles in that position, my knees got quite a bit of a feel in there, a workout, but what we'll do is we'll lay back and we're gonna go hand behind the knee, and all we're gonna do is we're gonna pull it back like a hamstring curl, a little bit of resistance because the hands are in the way. We're gonna pull and then straighten it out. Once you straighten it out, you can point the toes, flex it, come back down, pull like a hamstring curl, push it away, point the toes, and again, we'll do this for repetitions, trying to get some blood flow into the knee. Now, depending on your flexibility, your knee may not make it back very far. You're pointing it away from you, no problem. And then this may be the extent of how far you can get your foot out. That's fine. Get the foot and ankle movement in there and then pull it back. If you're a little bit more flexible, no problem. Some people will be able to take this sucker and go all the way over their head to the ground. So we're all at different points, but as long as we're moving, the goal is to get pain-free, developing more mobility in our body, full range of motion into our joints. And really, it's returning to being that 2-year-old you once were, where you were totally mobile, free of any pain. You could play all day on the ground, go to the playground, take a fall, take a tumble, get right back up and keep running. That's our goal. That's my goal for you, and that's my goal for me. I want to stay that way forever. As a 90-year-old man, I want to be on the ground playing with my grandkids, getting up and down effortlessly, pain-free. We'll switch to that opposite side. So same thing here. Hands go behind the knee. We'll straighten it, flex it, point it, pull it down. Remember, when you're pulling down, don't just let it hang. We're going to actively pull like a hamstring curl. Then push, point, flex back. That flex back is pretty painful for me. That's where I feel right here. I can feel this in the hamstring, behind my knee, a little bit in my calf. That pointing of the toe relieves it, and it comes right back on. Pull, push hard, and then back. Again, this is something that's perfect. First thing in the morning, when you're feeling tight, you laid in bed all night for 8 hours, got your good sleep. But man, I tighten up in my sleep a lot of times, especially if you slept a little funky, you're in a weird position. This is the perfect wake-up routine. Okay, so now, moving on. Let's get a little bit to the hips, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna focus on a squat today. So like I said, a 2-year-old, if you watch a 2-year-old walk, drop something, they don't bend over to pick it up, the pencil, they do a perfect squat, and that's what we wanna get back to. Now we're all at different points in our squat. We're gonna work on a flat-footed squat, and what we'll do is, we're gonna bend our knees as much as you need to get your feet flat. We're gonna grab your ankles. Now, you can put your hands on the ground. You see my knees are bent. I'm not doing like a straight-legged hamstring curl stretch. I'm gonna go here with my hands, and all I want you to do is, you can go back and forth with your feet. One foot can be flat, the other can pop up, depending on your flexibility. And then we're just gonna lift the hips up, and then do the opposite side. Other foot flat, while one heel pops up, and then stand back up. We're gonna keep going back and forth. Again, it's your workout, your journey, your mobility routine. So you do as many reps as it takes. You do it for as long as it takes, whatever feels best to you. And you can see as I stand up, I try to straighten my legs, little hamstring stretch in there. You can have your toes pointed out, pointed forward. We're all built a little different. So my squat is not your squat. Okay, and as you get more warmed up, you should be able to do both feet flat like that, and then they both, as you extend up, both will stay flat when you stand up. So we're gonna try to go down, up. You can grab behind as well. So you can go down. Oh, they both popped up, so I'm gonna return down just a little bit here, and then back up. You can play with the width of your feet, going wider. May work better for you. And again, we're just different. So, because my foot placement may not work for you, and yours may not work for me, we just have to find what we're comfortable with and start there before we push ourselves. Okay, next we're gonna lay down. So that same position we're gonna try to mimic, except we're gonna be on our back. So first thing we'll do, lay down. We're gonna try to get our head down, shoulders down, back and glutes are down. We'll get our feet up, just like we're doing maybe like a leg press at the gym, or basically a squat position. I'm gonna pull my knee just one at a time. Back into my chest, armpit area, release, get that second side, same thing. So I'm mimicking what we just did standing up to a degree. Go back and forth, left and right. And then as you do it, exhale and this comes in, breathe through that pain. Anytime you're experiencing some pain, breathe through it. When you're feeling more comfortable, then you're gonna start doing both legs at the same time. So ready, I'm gonna try to pull both knees in, exhale here. And then let them both come back out. Both in, both out. Then after you do that several times, when you're comfortable, we're gonna try to go one in, we're gonna rock back and forth. So it'll be a left and right motion. So one comes in, one goes out. The opposite comes in, the opposite goes out. And as I talk and I try to sit up and look towards the camera here, I want you to focus on, instead of rounding like this, see if you can keep your head down, your shoulders down. Allow your hips to rock from here. It's okay if they go left and right. Follow your knees. Okay, now if you're able to, we're gonna grab the inside of either one or both legs. And we're gonna try to pull your knees back even further. So my hands are gonna go this direction, pulling on my feet, on my heels. And you'll see my knees drop out quite a bit. Some people are able to keep them closer, I'm not. If you're able to, drop a knee. We're gonna extend a leg. See how far you can get this leg straight. If you're able to go straight all the way, that's fantastic. Otherwise, if you're right here, no problem. Hang out here, and then we're gonna pull it back in. We're gonna just focus on one side. Pull, straighten. Pull, straighten. We're gonna see how far you can go. The whole time you can just keep this knee down on the mat for right now. And when you're ready, we'll switch sides. So go into the second side, drop the other knee, start to straighten, see how far you can get that to go. Pull it back in. So it's not just your foot moving. If you can, get your knee pulling back. So when the foot pulls back in, I'm opening my knee. And then as I straighten my leg, you can see my knee does travel forward just a bit. The knee goes back, foot comes in. That's the hard part, so exhale, and then back out. When you've done enough repetitions there, spent enough time, we're gonna try to go back and forth. So I'll go my right leg straight, then I start dropping it down, back, knee touches, left leg straight, down, back, knee touches, and you just add that little rocking movement with your hips. Always breathing. Oh, perfect. All right. So there's your mobility work for today. Keep moving forward.